We are back, episode 9, Pull Up and Talk, with my partner in crime, Aldo, Crusades of Motivation, and a very special guest this week, Mr. Tim Morgan from Tampa, Florida, a.k.a. Tim Effect. Tim, thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. How you doing, brother?
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Really looking forward to this interview, man, once you reached out to me.
So I just played a little intro showing a little bit of what you're doing down there in Florida. But then at the very end, I see you sitting in a chair getting pampered, getting your Tootsie soaked in the water. That was it. I guess that was an active recovery day. Is that what you would call that?
Most definitely. You know, you got to have self-love. You know, you got to pamper yourself, just like the ladies do. You know what I mean? And when my wife first started taking me to get pedicures and manicures, you know what I'm saying? Oh, no, that's taboo. That's only for females. But it feels so good.
Yeah.
I advise all you guys out there, don't be so masculine, man, that you got to take care of your feet because that's your foundation. So
very true.
You know, true. It's like it's very important to have good feet, in other words. So make sure you go to the get your pedicure, man.
No, it is. To be honest with you, I was just busting a little bit when I saw that. You actually posted a video on that, but I said, let me just throw this in there to get them. But I've actually done it. I haven't done it in a while, and you got me thinking again. I think I'm going to have to get in there.
You got me sold, man.
70 years old, still going like a 20-year-old. Bring us back a little bit. Born and raised in Tampa, in that area?
No, I'm a Floridian. I'm a true Floridian. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. I grew up at Jacksonville Beach. So I grew up like 9 blocks from the Atlantic Ocean. I'm a Florida native, a true Florida native.
Okay. So when you, back then, what was the training culture like? It seems like calisthenics is more widespread today. And I guess I'm assuming working out in general. But what was it like back then? Did you have that culture back then?
Well, growing up in the South, it was just mainly sports. Football, baseball, basketball. Those running track, those were the sports that we all participated in the area that I grew up in. And, you know, we were at the park playing basketball and stuff. It was a pull-up bar, but it wasn't no dip bar or anything of that nature. And people just might go and just jump up there every now and then. But as far as people actually training, no, it was none of that. It was just sports, basketball, football, baseball, and track. That was basically it. That was the culture that I grew up in.
So there was nobody really working out like that were around you?
Nobody.
How old were you?
It was just sports. And I didn't even do it either. I was out there playing basketball, football, and running track just like everybody else was.
Oh, really? How old were you when you first had that interest to working out? It was just always sports for you?
Playing football and running track. We had to, after practice, we had to do pull-ups and we had to do dips. And they really didn't stretch that much weightlifting, but you know, they had the universal gym, didn't have very many free weights at the high school I went to. But if you wanted to go in there and lift and work out, you could on the universal gym. You guys know what I'm talking about, a universal gym all in one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was basically it as far as I can remember. And like I said, after practice, we will always have to do some dips and pull-ups. And, you know, when you're young, full of piss and vinegar, you know, you did what you had to do. And if you can get away without doing it, you didn't do it. So I wasn't disciplined.
After high school, you wound up with the Miami Hurricanes, correct?
Yes, I was lucky and fortunate to receive a 4-year scholarship to attend the University of Miami in Coral Gables, Florida. That's correct.
When you got into with the college football, was there a lot of weight training with that, or is it just?
Well, that's a totally different story altogether, because I initially signed with the head coach, Fran Kersey. He quit and went to Kentucky, to the University of Kentucky. Then Pete Elliott took over the athletic director, He was there for a short tenure, I say about a couple of years or so. And then he quit. Then another guy, Carl Selmer, one of the assistants, took over. So in my 4 years, I went through 3 head coaches. So we really didn't have no discipline at all. We were just butt wild, man, because, the culture really never changed. It was still the same from past years. And as far as winning traditions, as I moved up to varsity and stuff, they didn't have it. But us as freshmen, we were undefeated as freshmen. We beat everybody, man. Everybody we played against, we beat them. And then once we got moved up to varsity, uh, it was a totally different vibe, man. Totally
I'm very
different.
curious. I'm very curious now that you talk about this. So the first 2 years you had the one coach. Is that where you winning streak?
No, we still hadn't developed no culture. Like my first year there, I was a freshman. I played on the freshman team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got moved up to the varsity. Out of all the teams in the world, it was against the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I was still a freshman at this point. I was the leading rusher in that game. And I was probably about a $156, $160. And I was playing running back. And during that time, the Crimson Tide was the Crimson Tide. They had a powerhouse back then. And I was the leading rusher in that game as a freshman. And about a $150, $160, somewhere around up in there.
Now, during your career, didn't you set a school record? Was it for the longest kickoff or punt return?
Longest kickoff return. It was out of the end zone. I think it was in 1974, 76, somewhere around up in there. Deep in the end zone in the old Orange Bowl. And Donnie Martin received the first kickoff. It got called back on a penalty. Then they kicked off to us again. I received the kickoff deep in the end zone and returned it to set the longest kickoff return record for the University of Miami. I was the first to do it.
Wow.
Devin Hester probably did it 2 or 3 times. Shout out to Devin Hester, man. But I was the first one to do it. All the guys that followed after me, they tied my record. I got to get that out there.
Did you deal with any type of injuries throughout your college career, or did you make it out unscathed?
Only injury I had, I cracked the bone in my wrist. And I was so gung-ho and playing football and stuff that I cut the cast off because I couldn't catch passes with the cast on. So I cut the cast off, and I'm still suffering from that, not letting that cast stay on and my wrist fully healing. But other than that, no, I didn't have any injuries in 4 years.
Now, Tim and I, for you guys that don't know, Tim and I met up in person a couple of times and worked out. And I noticed, Tim, you were actually doing, with the one hand, I believe it was that hand, you were doing push-ups on your knuckles. That's a result of that injury?
Yeah, as a result of that injury, because I don't have that much flexibility in it. That's as far as it'll go back. I don't know if you can see or not, but compared to my other wrists. So but I came to the conclusion I got tired of doing push-ups and burpees on my knuckles on the concrete until I just said, the heck with it. I'm just going to deal with it. So now I don't do push-ups with on my knuckles anymore unless I'm doing knuckle push-ups, and I don't do burpees on my knuckle anymore. I just do it flat hand now, just like I'm doing a regular push-up open hand. I'm not one to complain. Growing up, my dad gave me tough love. And matter of fact, just tell you a story. I told him I wanted a bicycle for Christmas. Had never rode a bicycle in my life. He got me a bicycle. So Christmas morning, I got the bicycle, went outside with all the other kids. Didn't know how to ride, so I went back inside and said, Pops, you gonna teach me how to ride? He said, nope. He said, you said you wanted a bicycle, so go out there and learn how to ride it, and don't come back in this house until you know how to ride. I fell, skipped my knees up, cried, but I learned how to ride that bicycle
You
before
learn.
I house.
You learn.
You know, just to tell you a little bit about my pops. That's what kind of pops I grew up with.
And he was in law enforcement, correct, your dad?
Yes,
And
yes.
of course,
He was a policeman during the time when black police officers only could arrest blacks. And if they stopped a white person in the neighborhood, they had to call a white officer to actually do the arrest. But you didn't know my old man. You know, if you came in the neighborhood and you messed up regardless of your color, he took you to jail.
right.
That's amazing. Hey, I'm big into that, Mr. Tim. I have a 11-year-old, and I'm big into that, man. And nowadays you see this type of culture dying off. You know, everybody wants to pamper the kids too much and making it easy for them. And I want to give you a lot of props, man, because I want to ask you this question. Do you believe that it's helpful to have that style of parenting? Because you are that yourself, and I don't know how was your style of parenting, or do you believe that's something that is bad for the kids?
No, I feel like it's great for the kids because they are kids. You are the adult. And as long as you're a parent, that's a part of parenting, man. That's a part of grooming them into becoming men, responsible men. Um, just to tell you another story, and I give you kudos and give you flowers, Aldo, too, for spending a lot of time with your kid because that's very important. And they don't realize it when they're young, but when they get older, then it'll hit them smack in the face. But just to share another story with your childhood story, when I was playing football, my dad also was on the coaching staff too when I was playing a little pop water football. But anyway, um, he spent a lot of time with me, honing my craft. I used to can catch a football anywhere you threw it. If you threw it on the top a blade of grass, I could catch it. I would grab it with my hands and I would catch it. But how I learned how to do it, it was this little flimsy tree in the backyard. And he would throw the pass into the little flimsy tree and he would say, "That's the defender. Catch the ball." In other words, what he was doing, which I didn't realize at the time, he was teaching me to catch with my hands and he was teaching me a concentration drill to not think about the contact, but just focus on catching the football. And I was a hell of a receiver too. I could catch it any kind of way, man. You know, you throw it on this side, I just rotated my arms around and twist my head around and caught it on. I used to catch it any way you threw it, man, because of the fundamentals that my pops taught me. And he didn't only teach me that in football, he taught me that in baseball as well. He spent a lot of time with me, man. A lot of time with me. And like I say, I give you flowers for doing that with your son, man.
Thank you.
But hands on, and to answer your question, sometimes you have to push him. Sometimes you have to give him a boot in the butt, man, to get him going. Because, you know, that's all I knew. That's all I knew.
It works.
But by the same token, all kids are different. You know, you can't do the same with every kid because I had two younger brothers and it was just the opposite with them. You couldn't push them like you did me. And, you know, they didn't go, or well, my youngest brother, he received a scholarship to the Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia. Big boy, 6'5", about 250. You know, that's my youngest brother. And then
That's
my
the
other
baby.
brother, yeah,
That's the baby.
yeah, that's the baby. And then my brother ahead of him, smart as a whip, finished high school, but you know, that was as far as he went because his attitude was like totally different than all three of ours. You know, the way that he pushed me, he couldn't push them the same way. Different generation, man, because like I say, I got like 20 years on those guys, you know, my younger brothers, you know, because it was just me and my three sisters for the longest. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, I had two brothers pop up. And I really didn't get to know them because I was in college and I was always gone. So when I came home, they felt like they didn't know me because I was always gone. I wasn't there to actually watch them growing up. Matter of fact, I think I only seen my brothers play one high school football game
Hmm.
because I didn't stay home. I was Orlando, Florida, Miami, Atlanta. I was out there ripping and running, man.
Well, that
Chasing-
kind of leads into my next question. So, you were inclined with the sports as a younger guy, and then you played your college football. As you got older, did you have a health consciousness, or did you kind of fall off on it? Get
Well,
away from it at all?
I was coaching. I was coaching when I first came out of college. I was coaching. I was at um, elementary school. I was teaching kindergarten through the sixth grade, and I also was coaching eighth grade basketball, high school track, and assistant on the coaching staff in football. And when the guys would work out, I would work out with them. And then they started a semi-pro team. This was before the league started with the New Jersey Generals and the league that uh, uh, Herschel Walker played in before he went to the
That
NFL.
was USFL, right? It was the
Yes,
USFL.
it was a league before the USFL. Because I tried out, I didn't get drafted. I signed as a free agent with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I should have went to the New Orleans Saints where there were the Aints, because I had a coach to coach me as a freshman, Whitey Campbell. I never forget him. He always told me if I didn't have a dad, he would adopt me as his son. That's how much this guy loved me, man. Used to let me carry the ball 25, 30 times a game as a freshman. I never forget Whitey Campbell. But anyway, I said that to say this, that Whitey Campbell came to my apartment and say, Tim, if you don't get drafted, I sign you with a 1-year contract with the New Orleans Saints for $27,000 a year. You know, and Wayne Fonts, he was the head coach at one time with the Detroit Lions. He came to my apartment and offered me a contract, pretty close to the same amount. And they gave me a $1,500 signing bonus as a free agent, you know? And I wanted to stay in the state of Florida, first of all. It wasn't really about the $1,500. I just wanted to stay in the state of Florida to make it convenient for my parents to come see me. And it was during the time that John McKay was the head coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His son was playing on the team. Ricky Bell, the Selman boys, all those guys were in camp with me. And I got waived. I didn't get cut. I got waived, but I had always made the team. And talking about a traumatic experience, it hurt me so bad until I was in a depressed state, man. I went home, just lounging around, laying in the bed, didn't want to do nothing, didn't want to go nowhere. My pop said, a healthy young man like you better get your ass up and get a job. And then I started working. But the only thing I had to do was just regroup, go to Canada, or just go try out for another team, or even I could have went to the New Orleans Saints and hooked up with Whitey Campbell. But I was hurt so bad because I had always made the team.
Mm.
And that's just like falling in love for the first time and giving your all to a female, and then all of a sudden she comes back to you and tells you that she doesn't want you anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, that was my I should have went with the New Orleans Saints. That was my downfall for not playing in the NFL. Like I say, you can't make excuses at this time, and you surely can't go back. But the only thing you can do is just go forward. And so, playing in that league that was before the USFL, the team I played on was the Jacksonville Firebirds. We won the championship. That's how good a team we had. I played with guys from HBCUs, Florida State, Florida, and other colleges as well, man. And we had a really good team. And I played with a guy, I never forget him, man. He played for the University of Tampa. He was great, man. He had a bad attitude, and he played in the NFL for a stitch. But, they kind of blackballed him because of his attitude. So he went to Canada, and it was great, man. Leon McQuay. If you ever get a chance, look up that name, Leon McQuay, man. In Canada and as well as the NFL, man. He was an old timer and was still good, fast. I never forget it. And I played the same position he played. So, uh, those were my highlights during that time. I didn't make it in the league, but I did play. And we flew everywhere. So, it was a semi-pro team, but it was like they treated us like we was in the NFL, man. Stayed
Right, right.
nice hotels and stuff and flew everywhere we went, man. So, that was a good experience. But one of the requirements was you had to have a regular job. And you played football. We made 1% of the gate. So I was single back then, had a pocket full of money every day because I was working. I was working for Sears during that time in air conditioning and refrigeration. So, making good money and playing football, doing something I love. So those are the highlights of my football time. And parties and girls, let's not even get into that.
Mr. Tim, I'm big into the mental stuff, man, and I'm always because, you know what? Not so much anymore. Ever since I became more consistent into working out, but I used to deal with downtimes all the time. I'm down. I feel down, and you said that part about you being rejected from the team and going into the dumps, man. But what got you out of there? What helped you get out of there?
My pops. Keeping that boot in my butt and telling me to get up and do something and be productive and be a man, be responsible. And I had got to the point one time, from the environment I grew up in, there was a lot of slick guys that grew up in the neighborhood with me, and well-dressed, well-groomed. And I said when I grow up, I always wanted to be that. And a ladies' man. And at one time, I wanted to be a pimp, man. You're laughing, Aldo. I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
And my pop said, a real man don't live off of a woman.
Mm.
And that's what changed my mind. And I had me a little stable. But I really wanted to be a pimp, bro. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Because I wasn't a bad-looking guy back in the day. I got this growth on my face now, and I'm looking like Santa Claus, a black Santa Claus. But I used to be sharp, bro.
I can tell. I can tell, man.
No, come on. The ladies got to be looking at you. Look at that silver fox. They call you the silver fox, I heard down in Tampa.
Like I was saying, man, what got me out of that was my pops, man. He was a big influence on my life, and I miss him to death, man. I miss him. So treasure all those moments with your son, because those are days he'll never forget. See, I had girls, old dog. I had 2 daughters, but I got 4 grandsons. And I'm in their lives, man, on a daily basis. But like I say, they have their dads. So, it's like I don't want to overstep my boundaries, man. It's like things I want to do and things I want to say, I bite my tongue because I had one of my son-in-laws tell me, that's my son.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I had to kind of back off because I know how I am. Once a man, But, I had to just back up and think a lot of things I want to say, I just bite my tongue, man. But, like I say, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, you're walking that tightrope where you really want to say something and you feel like you should say something, but on the other side, you hit the nail on the head. That's his son,
And and believe me, he let me know that. I was so mad that day I walked home from the park, man. Because I wanted to teach him fundamentals, man. He wanted to teach him advanced skills. And I say, you got to crawl before you walk. And then that's what he told me. That's my son. So I backed up, man. I walked home that day. That's how upset I was, man.
And how old are the grandkids now?
Well, I have 2 5 years old, a 17-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
And 17, is he following in Grandpop's footsteps? Is he athletically inclined?
Well, he's playing. He's like six. He's 17 and he's about 6'2" now. He plays basketball on his high school team, and he's, in my opinion, I don't think he's dedicated to the game. He has the ability, but he doesn't want to put in the work. Because I've talked to him a number of different times and say, yeah, train with me, you get bigger and get stronger. But, I even bought him a basketball and told him what to actually do to enhance his skills. Even had some buddies of mine that played continental ball, played stints in the NBA, that I went to high school with, that I let him talk to and just trying to inspire him and motivate him. But, it is what it is, Some kids are just motivated and some not. And some you have to push and some you don't. And some put that work in and some don't. But
and that translates into adulthood, because look at the people that we deal with when it just comes to taking care of yourself. You know what I mean? Some people do and some people don't, and it always goes back to that mental thing, because people tell you I can't stay motivated. So that follows you into adulthood, because there's plenty of adults, and I always say, and I stand by it, that I think it's the majority that don't have the discipline, that don't have the, if you want to use the word motivation or whatever it is, the mental toughness to do it day in and day out. And that's why when they see a guy like you at 70 years young, I mean, the things that you do, they'll put it off on, well, he's got to be taking TRT, or it's his genetics, or it's this, it's that. The whole idea of hard work, consistency, dedication, discipline, it's lost on so many people. You know what I mean? And that's why when people look at a guy like you, they figure something's got to be up. He can't just be that dedicated. He can't be that disciplined. And it's unfortunate.
The same goes for you too, old dog. And the same goes for you too, Aldo. People see your endurance. People see your physique, old dog, and they say the same things about you, man. And that's because everybody want to take shortcuts, man. And you can build muscle and you can get size from just doing calisthenics. Look at those guys like Broly Gaines, Bam Bam, Master Shredder, Team Simi. Those guys are huge, whether or not you realize it or not. I mean, big arms, chest. I mean, cut, ripped. I mean, seeing them on social media don't really give them justice, man. But if you see some of those guys in person, they're actually it.
Yeah.
And but see, everybody want to get big and want that size like overnight, and they're just killing themselves. And something else about that, people want to get big overnight and not willing to put in the work to get there. They must be don't watch social media, watch TV about all these people on steroids and growth hormones and all this stuff dying. They dying on stage and stuff. They must be just blind to this stuff, or saying, oh, that could never be me. They living in a fantasy world, man. I don't get it. Because back in my day, steroids was a big thing, man. I played college football with guys. Joe Wysock, I never forget him. He was roided up. I thought he was crazy as hell. I used to sit by him on the plane when we was taking our trips to the game, scared to death. I'm a little, like I said, $160. And Joe Wysock was huge, man. He was like the Incredible Hulk, man. Big guy. And I was scared to death of him, but I know he could snap at any time because he was on those steroids, man. And but like I say, during the time I grew up in, it wasn't like it is today, So
yeah. Well, it's funny, you just hit on something. Aldo and I were talking, ironically, right before we came on with you today, that we all think that we're smarter than we are. And like you said, these guys will do that stuff. They'll take the steroids and whatever, God only knows what else they're injecting into their bodies. And they'll say, you really shouldn't be doing that. It's dangerous. But you think you're smart. Well, no, it happened to that guy, but I'm doing it the right way. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen to me. We all think that and it's an ego thing. Our egos is really what destroys most of us and gets us, into trouble. So how did you wind up on social media, on YouTube? How did you get started on YouTube?
Well, when I used to get off from work 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, we would all meet at the gym. It was like about 5 or 6 of us, man. We would work out at the gym every day. Social hour as well as training. Talked about everything, and but mostly we were training. You know, we was mostly doing weightlifting, just lifting weights, man. And you know, you might see somebody on the pull-up ball there trying to do a muscle up, and you'll go over there and mess around with him and stuff, and get in some pull-ups and burpees and stuff, and then you know we would always talk about starting a YouTube channel. I would always pop it out, yeah, man. I need to start me a YouTube, putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and never really got it going. And then one day I decided I'm gonna start me a YouTube channel. So I started, man. Me and my daughters. That's when me and my daughters uh, started training together. And then you know I just kind of stayed on it. And then that's when I started my calisthenics journey and started doing pull-ups, push-ups, squats, running, burpees. That's when it all started. And then along that journey, I was on the Bay Shore. This is a workout area in Tampa, all from downtown Tampa. And I ran across Rashad with Golden Lotus Fitness. He was out there doing muscle ups, man. I said, darn, I like this stuff here. I like this. So, you know, I had the proper form and everything, up over the bar and everything. But because I didn't rotate my wrists, I would flop right back down. Flop right back down, you know, over and over again. You know, I'm over the bar, but the only thing I had to do was rotate my wrists and lean over the bar. And then, you know, it kind of started from there. And then I went and started working out with them. And they started putting me through some grueling workouts, man. Grueling workouts.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's kind of how it all started. And I kind of really got into it. And then some more calisthenics guys had a battle here at one time. And I entered that battle too, man. And, you know, I think I came in like 4th or 5th in the competition. And all the guys were like a third of my age, man.
Wow.
Mm.
You know, it was pull-ups for a minute, however many you can do, dips for a minute, and squats. You know, and it was like back to back to back. You know what I mean? And I think I came in like 4th or 5th in that. And you know, that's when I kind of fell in love with this stuff, man. The competition part of it all.
Mm. And what about your diet? I know we met up for lunch, and I think you're kind of partial to some pizza and calzones every once in a while. But what is your day to day?
I love that.
What does your day to day diet look like?
I love that stuff, man. But my normal diet, I intermittent fast. Some mornings I might wake up and feel like I want to have BF, and other days I won't. But I normally wake up with my first meal of the day around by 12 o'clock, Benny. I intermittent fast. I do 8 hours of eating. I don't overeat. I eat to fuel my body. I don't really have a special diet. I just intermittent fast. I eat the same foods that I always have eaten. I just eat small portions. And, and I'm a carnivore. I love meats. Eat a lot of vegetables, salads, and I have a cutoff time. I don't starve myself. After my 8 hours of eating is over, I might eat fruits, nuts, cottage cheese, things of this nature, but nothing heavy after 9 o'clock. You know, because, you know, intermittent fasting, your stomach has to adjust to the amount of food that you put in it. And my stomach is shrink, so whenever me and the wife goes out to dinner, I always have leftovers because I get full, man. And, yeah, I intermittent fast, man. I don't starve myself. I don't count micros or calories or none of that stuff. I just eat small portions, man.
And what is your training now? You sort of transitioned. Obviously, you've been in the gym, but now you sort of transitioned into you would say mostly calisthenics workouts.
Yeah. Well, like I was telling you the last time we spoke, it's hard to get away from lifting weights when that's your foundation. But the older I've gotten, when I'm lifting weights, my joints hurt now, man.
Mm.
So, whereas with calisthenics, your joints get hurt doing calisthenics, but the recovery part of it all is much faster with calisthenics than weightlifting. So, I still dingle and dally with the weights, but not like I used to. I love my calis now, man. My pull-ups, my dips, my squats, my push-ups. That's the kind of stuff I love now, man. I just love doing that stuff now. And it seems like the older I've gotten, the more I got to do to get something from it. Well, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, I have to go over. I have to do more than that. I feel I want to feel it, in other words. A lot of times when I'm doing them little short sets, I don't really feel it. Like I push-ups, 10 reps of 10, sets of 10 reps. I do that all day long, man. Reps of 10.
Right.
I do 10 reps of push-ups all day long. So, I had to increase. I increased it to 20. Now I'm on 30s now, I do sets of 30s now, but, I didn't get to that point overnight. I had to build myself up to it. And, but I just have to work, man. I just have to put in the work. And a lot of times I feel like being on social media, on lives, it takes away from your workout because you're trying to talk to the people in the comment section and work out at the same time, which means you're taking away from your actual workout because you get more rest. And I look at guys like D-Bird on his live. Shout out to D-Bird Dennis.
His channel is Men of Action.
Yeah, Men of Action.
Men of Action, yeah.
But anyway, D-Bird say, I chat with you after I'm done with my workout. And,
Yeah.
A lot of people love to talk to the people in the comments section because that's their way of getting rest too.
Well, Aldo and I have had that. Aldo does a lot of lives, but he likes to engage, right? Aldo, you like to engage with the chat, and you've said that too. It's when you're doing your workout live, like Aldo, told me this, and I agree with them. It's not the same because you're not as focused on the workout.
You're not.
You sort of your mind isn't fully in it. Aldo, I know Aldo, he's always running back to the screen. Let me check the chat. Let me see who's out there.
We all do.
I mean, and it makes sense because you're there and people are watching you. So part of it is the engagement, right? You do want to engage with the audience a little bit.
Hey, Vinny, what it boils down to, we all about people subscribing, hitting that like button.
It's all a numbers game. Life is a numbers game, Tim.
That just, and it goes along with being on social media, on YouTube, man. But it's like I always say, I get some of my best workouts when I'm not on camera, because then I can get locked in and I don't have to worry about aiming the camera or interaction with the people in the comments and stuff. And I just get a good workout, man. When I just go to the park and don't know nobody and just out there just doing my thing. And then I had a buddy, just to tell you a little short story. He was over at the pickleball court playing pickleball. He's really my barber. Can you imagine that? I'm bald head, but my barber, he trims my beard, but I'm just letting it grow now. But anyway, I said that to say this, that he was over playing pickleball, and he couldn't believe how long I was over there training. And he said when he got ready to come over to say something to me, I was done. I had left. But yeah, man, I just get locked in and just start doing my thing, man. And what's been happening to me lately, I don't know if I'm a magnet to little small kids or what. It seems like every time I go to the park, they want to come over to the calisthenic area and play around instead of going to the little kiddie part over there playing.
Yeah, I've encountered that too. It really happens all the time that you'll be there and there's always the calisthenics area, and usually right next to it or close proximity, there's going to be like a kid's playground.
Yeah.
No matter what's in that kid's playground, they're like, flies drawing the honey. Like they want to come to that calisthenics area, and they're jumping all over the place. So
yeah, right.
You got to watch. But yeah, I see that happen all the time.
Hey, Benny, and they want to engage with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the parents over there sitting on the little
They're
seat.
on the bench.
Yeah, they're on the bench, but yet and still the kids want to do what you're doing.
Yeah. I
And the
know. And the
parents are nowhere
parent,
to be found.
I say that all the time. And then there's the parents sitting on it, drinking their whatever they're drinking, their coffee milkshake from Dunkin' Donuts or whatever they have going on over there. But so Tim, as far as your workouts, you just kind of wake up and say, "Hey, I might work out today," or are you
Well,
are you
at this,
strict with? Do you follow some type of schedule with your
well,
workouts? Do you plan days off? Like, how do you work that?
at this point in my life, I listen to my body, man. I might work out 2 or 3 days a week. I might work out 5 or 6 days a week, but it all depends on my body and what it's telling me to do. And as far as the motivation part, shoot, it's nothing for me to get up and work out. I don't need no motivation. I don't need nobody to work out with. It's me. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to maintain, and I basically know what I want to do. I don't have no set format. No, already built. The way I look at it, my temple is already built, and I always relate it to a car. You have to change the spark plugs in it from time to time to keep it fine tuned. You have to change the oil in your car to detox it. You even have to check your tires, man, to make sure that everything is rotating properly. Those are your legs. And then I just basically look at it just like the car, like a car. And like I say, you got to get tune-ups every now and then. You know what I mean? You got to check stuff every now and then, and that's how I do my body the same way, and that's how I treat my body. And then the gas that you put in it, that's the fuel that you put in your body. It's not. See, I try to stay away from the obvious sugars and processed foods. Like I say, I don't eat the cakes or the cheesecakes or the donuts, and I do like calzone. See, I like carbs, man. I like rice, bread, and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. Pasta. I love all that. But like I said, as far as eating clean, what is your definition of eating clean? Not eating sugary foods, not eating the obvious sugars, added sugars and stuff of that nature. Fried foods. I don't eat a lot of fried foods either. Most of my foods are baked. Everybody has their definition of eating clean. My definition of eating clean is eating rice, meats, vegetables, salads, but not overdoing it. And as far as the sugary stuff, yeah, I eat cheesecake, I eat cinnamon buns, but I don't overdo it. But I also train too. And sodas, I don't drink sodas at all. Sweet teas, I broke away from drinking sweet tea. Matter of fact, what I'm drinking now, I'm drinking turmeric now with no sugar in it. That's, like I said, you just have to find something that works for you. And like the old adage, what they always say, Benny, you can't outwork a bad diet.
True.
What do you consider a bad diet, though? I don't eat potato chips. Yeah, I eat cookies, but I don't overdo it. I eat certain kind of cookies like honey graham crackers. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. What is your definition of a bad diet? As long as you see results and it works for you, I don't know, man. I just have a lot of questions about stuff, when it comes to scientific stuff, Just in life in general, I have a lot of questions about stuff in life, man. I always have questions stuff, and my wife say, "Tim, the way you think, you crazy, man." But it's like I don't know. I always try to think out of the box, man, and try to do things that makes me happy. But anyway, hopefully I
That's
go off
awesome.
on a binge, man. I go off on a binge, but hopefully I answered your question, man.
That's awesome. That's a really good analogy. I'm gonna take that in, Mr. Tim. The car. I'm gonna take that in, man. Gotta
Yeah,
check the tires, change the oil.
But think about it.
You're
Think
right.
about it. When you detox your body, it's just like changing the oil in your car, and that's the basis of your car right there. That engine, man. And the fuel is the gasoline.
But it's ironic because if you look at all of these material things that we have, whether it's our house, our car, your motorcycle, you name it, people are religious about maintaining their material things, right?
Bam, you got it.
But
You
they
got
should
it.
have that same mentality when it comes to maintaining your body. You know
Same
what I
thing.
mean? And upkeep on your body. You know, in a perfect world, it certainly would be. All right, my friend. Aldo, you got anything for Tim before we head out?
Man, just I'm very thankful, Mr. Tim. Thank you so much for coming up with us. This was powerful, man. I learned so much. Man. Thank you.
Hey, but
That was a schooling, man. That was a big schooling today. I
I learned
appreciate you.
something new every day, and I learn from you guys too, man. And like I say, keep on doing what you're doing, man, because a lot of people need to hear this stuff. And I can't give you guys enough flowers, man. You know?
Likewise.
Well, back at you, Tim. You know, I remember way back when you were like a kid. You were like 66 the first time I saw you on social media. And I said, "Who is this guy?" It was a video of yours. You were actually at the gym, I think, the first time I saw you.
Yeah, I don't.
But you know, thanks to social media, you know, we were able to get together. And I got to tell you, man, I admire you. You inspire me, on and on. And it's the truth. So, you know, I love you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time.
One quick question I want to ask you and Aldo. Do you think you get injured weightlifting, CrossFit, or doing calisthenics, man?
Oh man. Weightlifting. I experienced that myself. I used to weightlift. I did some CrossFit, injured all the time. Calisthenics sometimes. Because it happens too in calisthenics, you know, but it happens less.
What you say, Benny?
I'm going to go all of the above. The extremity injury, you know, there's more of a chance, I would say, serious injury with if you're dealing with heavier weights. But I think across the board, you know, I mean, I've wrenched my back putting on my socks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could get hurt doing anything.
You're right. But I did a little research on that. And weightlifting, 27% people get injuries. And the type of injuries they have are shoulder injuries, knee injuries, and wrist injuries. Okay? That's weightlifting. In CrossFit, check this out, 20% shoulder injuries, knee injuries, and lower back. 24% in calisthenics.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Lower back, groin, hip, thigh are the most common. Check that out.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never would have thought that. I never would have thought it was that, you know, especially compared to CrossFit, because I've seen,
Yeah, I know.
and Aldo and I have spoken about this, you know, that CrossFit, I've seen some of the moves, just a CrossFit muscle up, a CrossFit pull up. I mean, they look like they're made out of rubber. I'm like, how does their body take that, you know?
But it's just like doing anything in life, man. Your body get used to the movement.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it gets used to the movement. And I think most of those guys get injured from lifting weights more so than doing those moves. Although you can tweak yourself doing anything, but yet and still, I think most of the injuries stem from lifting weights because they lift heavy, man. I mean, and they snatching and cleaning, man.
Yeah. That's how I used to get injured a lot.
Yeah,
But anyway.
Aldo was actually Aldo started out, right? Aldo, you started out with powerlifting, right?
Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
I also heard that you were a boxer too, man.
A little bit.
That's why you don't never bend over and you want to stand erect all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I learned that.
Well, Aldo's credo is fitness is a playground. He does it all. Aldo will try anything.
Yeah, he does.
You mention it, he'll go. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. He'll be on his live doing it in the morning. If you bring it up,
Hey, wait.
he's going to go do it in the morning.
Old dog, in strict form too, man. Strict form. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I love about Aldo. Strict form, man. And he stressed that point too, man. And don't get into no battle or no competition with him because you'll lose.
No.
No, man. Hey, listen, man. I'm just learning.
I could tell you right now. Do not challenge my friend Aldo because he will not back down. This man, he will not back down.
Hey, but anyway, guys, let me go ahead and end that. I just wanted to pose that question on you guys, man. And,
All right, Tim. Again, we appreciate you, man. Stay well. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll be watching. Everybody go over. Tim, YouTube, Instagram, anything else?
TikTok and Facebook.
Oh, okay. So check them out on all of those. Tim, we'll have the links down below in the description. Tim, thanks again, brother. Stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Tim.
Hey,
God bless
Merry
you.
Christmas and Happy New Year's to you guys and your families, man.
You
God
too.
bless you.
Aldo, you want to take us out, brother?
Hey, everybody, thank you so much. Shout out Mr. Tim out in Florida. And thank you so much, guys, for coming back again. You already know, hit the like button, subscribe, go check out Mr. Tim for sure, man. Hey, you have excuses? Go check out Mr. Tim, man. And then come back and tell me your excuses. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
God bless you.
See you guys, man.